subscribe for more.
I never expected the truth to come out over dinner, between clinking glasses and forced smiles. My name is Adrian Cole. I'm 43, married for 14 years, and until that night, I believed my life was stable, predictable, earned. We were sitting at our usual table, the corner booth at a quiet Italian place we visited every month. Candles, soft music, the routine of familiarity. My wife, Eleanor, kept tapping her fork against the plate, barely touching her food. I noticed, but I didn't push. I had learned over the years that silence was easier for her than honesty. Halfway through the meal, she took a deep breath and said my name like it weighed something. Adrian, she said, I need to tell you something. Her voice didn't shake. That was the first sign. She looked relieved, almost rehearsed. She told me she had been seeing someone else. Not a mistake, not confusion, someone else. She said it plainly, like announcing a change in plans. I listened without interrupting. People think rage arrives instantly, but sometimes clarity comes first. I felt the room narrow, sounds fading, my heartbeat slow instead of racing. She kept talking, explaining how it happened, how she felt lonely, how it didn't mean she never cared about me. I let her finish. I didn't ask questions. I didn't argue facts. I watched her hands, how steady they were, how detached. In that moment, I understood something important. This wasn't a confession seeking forgiveness. It was a declaration. She had already left emotionally. Dinner was just the paperwork. When she finally stopped, she waited. I could tell she expected shouting, tears, bargaining. Maybe she practiced for that version of me. I took a sip of water, set the glass down, and said calmly, "Thank you for being honest." Her eyes widened slightly. I told her I appreciated her telling me the truth instead of continuing to lie. Then I said something else, something simple. I said, then our marriage is over. Not in anger, not as a threat, as a statement of fact. She froze. Her mouth opened, then closed. She asked if I was serious. I nodded. I told her I wasn't interested in competing with another man for my own wife. I wasn't interested in rebuilding trust alone. I said I deserved a partner who chose me when things were quiet, not just when they were exciting. My voice stayed level. That seemed to unsettle her more than yelling ever could. She tried to pivot then, said she didn't expect me to react like this. She said maybe we could talk, maybe therapy, maybe time. I shook my head. I told her choices have consequences, and hers had already been made. I paid the bill, thanked the waiter, and stood up. The calmness surprised even me. I wasn't numb. I was resolved. Outside, the night air felt sharper. She followed me to the car, asking where I was going. I told her I would stay with my brother, Marcus, for a while. I said we would handle logistics through lawyers. No drama, no scenes. I drove away while she stood on the sidewalk, stunned. That image stayed with me, not as revenge, but as closure. Later, alone, I processed what happened. The signs had been there. The distance, the distraction, the subtle contempt. I had ignored them because consistency felt safer than confrontation. Many men do that. We mistake endurance for strength. But there is a point where staying becomes self-betrayal. That dinner clarified it. In the days that followed, I kept my routines. I went to work, answered emails, slept better than I had in months. Friends asked how I was holding up. I said I was fine because I was. Losing someone who already left you isn't a loss. It's an alignment with reality. She reached out later, confused by my lack of anger. She said my calm reply made her question everything. I didn't respond immediately. When I did, I wished her well and asked that communication stay practical. That was enough. Peace doesn't require closure conversations. It requires boundaries. Looking back, I don't replay her confession anymore. I remember my response. Calm, clear, final. That moment taught me that dignity isn't loud. It's quiet. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say after betrayal is nothing extra at all. That night changed how I see calmness and strength forever. I learned that control isn't about winning arguments or proving innocence. It's about choosing yourself without theatrics. People imagine closure as loud confrontations, but real closure is quiet acceptance. Walking away with dignity rewires your sense of worth. I didn't become colder. I became clearer. The confusion lifted, replaced by an understanding of my limits. Love without respect isn't love, it's tolerance dressed up as loyalty. and tolerance slowly erodes the man you are. I won't pretend it was painless. There were mornings when the silence felt heavy, but it was honest silence, not the performative kind I lived with before. Over time, honesty heals faster than hope built on denial. If there's one truth I carry forward, it's this. When someone tells you who they are choosing, believe them. Responding calmly isn't weakness. It's self-respect finally speaking. I share this not for sympathy, but for clarity. Men are taught to endure quietly, hoping effort fixes indifference. It doesn't. Boundaries do. Calm decisions carry weight because they reveal resolve. I walked out of that restaurant without shouting, without collapsing, without regret. What followed wasn't loneliness, but relief. The absence of disrespect is peace. And peace, once tasted, becomes non-negotiable. I don't hate her. I simply chose myself. Sometimes the bravest reply isn't anger or forgiveness. It's acceptance, delivered softly, then upheld consistently. It ended quietly, but it began my return to self-respect, certainty, and a future built on honesty, strength, and unshakable boundaries I will never abandon again. That lesson remains with me every single day.